So we've covered sponsored products and sponsored brands, and now it's time to talk about sponsored display. There's two different types of sponsored display. One is in Amazon and one is off Amazon, and I'm going to cover both. But for the ones that are displayed within Amazon, let's go ahead and take a look at those now. To keep it simple, we're just going to use the same search results page as we just reviewed for sponsored brands. And on this page, again, anywhere where you see sponsored is a sponsored ad. But for sponsored display, it's this one right here in the far left-hand corner. Now, this is often associated with DSP placements as well, but you can actually get access to this through sponsored display product targeting as well. So if we continue to scroll past the video ad, we see another sponsored display ad to the left here. And we keep going. We're going to run into some more sponsored product ads as well. And I believe there was just one more at the bottom that was sponsored display. So let's see if it's right below this 3 sponsored brand ads that I just mentioned is their sponsored display ad. And that is for the search results page. Those are the primary positions for sponsored display. And again, you don't get access to this unless you are brand registered. So when you actually go into a campaign itself as well, you're going to see different sponsored display positions. So the number one position you see is that right here at the top, and it happens to be that SteadyRack bike rack that we were just looking at previously. So they're doing a really good job of making sure that they're targeting relevant other products. Now you can see they've taken advantage of that image, that updated image creative. You can see it's very small, but you can still see it in this image, which is great. So besides that top campaign right there, you've also got really prominent ones typically right below the buy box or the featured offer, as Amazon is moving towards calling this. You have a campaign right there, and typically below the bullets and the additional details, you see another ad type right here. So again, both of these are pretty prominently positioned. On this screen, you can see the one at the top, obviously, but also this one right here without having to do any kind of scrolling. And that's what we like to call top of the fold or above the fold. And again, it's an impression that the seller or the shopper didn't really have to do anything to see. So when they scroll, there is other campaign types on here. This is sponsored product targeting campaigns, actually both of these stripes. But as far as sponsored display goes, those are the prominent positions really at the top of any product detail page. But for now, let's go ahead and take a look at how to build out some of these campaigns within Amazon. Okay, back here in Amazon, we're just going to click on sponsored display, and we're just going to briefly go through some of the important elements here. So campaign name, obviously, this is still important. Now, this does tend to move around. I think for sponsored products, the campaign name has been moved down to the bottom. Mina might have showed that to you, but so there might be some things that are a little bit different here, depending on when you are watching this. But again, you're going to want to create an ad group. You're going to want to select a couple different products depending on what you're doing. Now, sponsored display product targeting, which is what we're talking about here, you really want to select probably maybe 2 or 3 products only. That seems to get the best performance that you can then weigh out later. So again, we've got several different ways that you can do targeting. Right now, you have this new contextual targeting, which Amazon has recently added. You can see it's got the new way there. And this is kind of the evolution of product targeting. So you can actually use this to target ASINs directly within Amazon, but it's also going to do expanded reach on other shopping and entertainment content. So basically, you have the ability to do on and off Amazon outreach right now in this new contextual targeting. So audiences is a little bit different, but I want to show you contextual targeting first. So you have these new bidding algorithms as well, or bidding optimization options within sponsored display. So depending on what your strategy is for your sponsored display campaigns, you can either optimize for reach, which again is probably really good for sellers with brand new products that are just looking for visibility, similar to the algorithm that I shared with you earlier within Atomic of max impressions. That's what this one is. Optimize for page visits. Basically just says we'll optimize for a higher detail page visit, so people actually clicking on and landing on the detailed page. That's what this option is for. And then optimize for conversions, which basically simply means that they're going to focus on those keywords that are actually actually giving you sales. So I typically go for optimized conversions, since that is what we are looking for the most out of Amazon, is actual sales. But again, depending on your strategy, you might want to select one or two, or one of these other options. So when you look at the new section for contextual targeting, again, you see the categories that are already presented to you. You can see that they've given you quite a bit more for a sponsored display. So you really want to be careful and make sure that you select the thing that is actually closest to your product, which I believe we selected before as bike racks and stands. Now I won't go through the refined features since I showed that to you in the other module, but we're just going to add that. Now you'll also see that Amazon has automatically added a particular audience or category here, similar to advertised product. So if you want to do this particular target, you can go ahead and leave that. If you want to read the details on it, you can just hover over it, and it basically says your ad is going to be shown to shoppers who viewed detailed pages of products that are similar to your product. So if you want to take advantage of this, you can leave it here, but if you just want to get rid of it because you're already doing your own targeting, you can go ahead and click X, and that will get rid of it there. Now, again, creative. This is where I said before, if you have the ability to take advantage of this custom creative, you can go ahead and take it and do that. Now, that could either mean just a graphic with your logo and a headline, but it also could mean adding a custom image. And this is what I highly recommend that you do if you have the ability to do that. As you can see, if I wanted to add a custom image here, it would just be that whole top portion of the ad, or to the left, as we saw in that top stripe ad. So if you do want to do images, just make sure you are following the guidelines that Amazon's giving you. If you do not follow some of these guidelines, then you potentially are going to get rejected, which you want to avoid. So now let's take a look at the audience selection. So if we scroll back up and we select audiences, you still get the same bidding options that you had before, but you have much more information here to drill down into. So instead of clicking on all of these different things, I actually created some slides that I can just share with you guys now, and it's going to probably be a little bit more helpful than going through each one of these sections. So let's take a look at those. The first remarketing campaign type is actually the original. So when Amazon first started doing remarketing, they just did it based on views. And that simply means any shopper who has viewed your product but maybe did not make a purchase, that is what we're going to remarket to. And remarketing simply means, you guys have seen this before when you're looking for a product, when you're shopping online, even on Amazon. You're on Amazon, but then you go to a different website. It could be a day later, it could be a week later, but you're going to see an ad for that product that you saw before on Amazon, or maybe even another website. It's basically following you once you have left Amazon. So that's what remarketing means. So this was the original version of remarketing, and they've expanded it a little bit to include up to a 90-day look back. So effectively, you can create one of these campaigns and look back a week or up to 90 days. And this is a powerful way to keep your product top of the mind by re-engaging the audiences both on and off Amazon, and then redirecting them back to your product listing. So the shopper may not have been ready to purchase when they first saw your ad on Amazon for whatever reason, but they might after a second look. Purchases remarketing is slightly more advanced and newer. This is essentially a variation on the views remarketing, except these people have actually purchased your product. The look back period has been expanded from a 90-day maximum as the previous to a year. So you can create campaigns from a minimum of 7 days look back all the way to 365 days. So somebody who purchased your advertised product or purchased products related to the advertised product. So you can either target exclusively shoppers who have bought one of your products and maybe show them other variations of your product, or maybe other products in the same category or niche. Or you can also select products that are related to your advertised products. So again, this is another powerful way to re-engage shoppers both on and off Amazon in those placements that I showed you, but also in other placements on other websites. And shoppers might be ready to purchase your product again after things like Prime Day, especially if you're in categories like consumables, household, or personal care. So if you have any kind of product where maybe you don't have subscribe and save set up yet, which you should if you have consumables, this might be something you can leverage to show the same product again to a shopper 30 days, 60 days out, depending on how long it takes to use your particular product. So the other area in sponsored display is Amazon Audiences. And so we're going to go into detail into each one of these four. But effectively, these are exclusive Amazon audience segments, similar to the way that you might, if you're doing Facebook ads, you can segment their audiences. Amazon is starting to do that as well with their audience. So each of these different audiences are informed by a variety of different metrics that Amazon looks at to indicate shopping and streaming signals, and broken up into lifestyle interest, life events, and in-market. Now, a pro tip here is that you can actually combine these audiences to really drill down into the exact shopper that you're looking to get in front of. And we're going to go into detail so this tip will make a little bit more sense. So the first one is lifestyle. So effectively, these are audiences whose shopping and streaming behaviors suggest maybe a certain lifestyle preference or affinity. An example of this audience would be students and professionals. So obviously, shoppers who have been buying a lot of school type equipment, maybe before the new school year, Amazon's going to indicate or notice that particular shopping behavior and put them in the category of students and professionals. So in this example, if you've got in this backpack, if you have a backpack or if you have any product that's related to going back to school, if this particular person that's in this audience segment is looking for a television, as you can see in this example here, even though they're looking for a television, the ad is going to be for your backpack. And again, that's because Amazon knows that this particular shopper has been looking for those types of products. Interests is another similar one, another audience segment. Again, because of shopping activity and signals, Amazon knows basic interests of their shoppers. An example could be food and drink or activities, cooking. So if a shopper has been buying a lot of cooking related things, maybe things for their kitchen, that's something that is going to put them in that particular audience segment. So if you have something like a Dutch oven in this example that is related to that particular category, again, if a person is shopping for a TV, they might see your product for the kitchen in that sponsored display product targeting position under the featured offer, the bullets like I showed you live within Amazon. Life events is another category, and this is things like moving. If you're buying moving boxes or shipping boxes or tape, Amazon knows this is probably somebody that's moved or is about to move. Obviously, new parent. If there's a lot of baby products being purchased that have never been purchased before, then that's a signal to Amazon that this might be someone who just had a new baby. So if you have a product that's in that particular category, and again, this particular shopper is looking for something different, they might see your ad and they might purchase it based on need because they are in that particular life event mode. The last one is Amazon Audiences in market, and that effectively means that the shopper has not yet made the purchase. These are maybe things that are products that have been searched a lot, maybe they've been saved or added to a wish list, or maybe they've been added to the cart but not yet purchased. So in this in-market category, an example of the audience type would be home and garden, do-it-yourself tools. So if the person has saved a lot of items related to gardening, Amazon can see that. So if you've got gardening gloves, as this example, then again, when that person is shopping for something different, like a TV, they might see your ad for gardening gloves on that product detail page, and they might make that purchase based on their interest. Now, these are fairly new audience segments within Amazon since the end of 2021. So if you do test these, make sure you're looking at the data because these can spend quite significantly if you don't pay attention to them. And you really can't optimize these in the same way as you can as campaigns with keywords. So you're just going to want to make sure that you're looking at these regularly if you are testing them.